To another session of Sales Chatter. Today, we're going to talk about self-confidence. We're going to look at the origins of self-confidence, what makes us confident, and does it really start from inside us? To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Morning,
All
Jeff.
right.
Now hold on. Before you even go, I gotta stop you right there. So, Dan, if you guys had any idea, this subject just came up like 2 seconds ago because obviously Audible. Greg is not here with us today. Greg, we hope everything's well. But Dan just spit that out like. He didn't even word that, so that came out so amazing.
Okay. I didn't even. It's one of these things because we were. So everybody that's watching, listen. DJ, we're talking about my snowmobile accident when I hit like literally a 3-inch pole in the middle of nowhere, and the only thing around, and I hit it. And then when I hit it, I flew off my sled, and all you hear is "I'm down, I'm down." it's like as if I was in an F-18 and I got shot down by somebody, right? And so we're laughing about it, and it's like kind of you look up, you're like 9 o'clock, you hit go, and then I just kind of spit that out. So
he's a pro.
Like, hey,
he's a pro, guys. It's crazy.
Oh, I don't know about that, brother. It's my co-host. It's not me. Hey, good morning, Jeff. Good morning, brother. Good morning. Who do we got? We got Adam. Good morning, Adam. Good to see you, brother. Man? Good to see you. So, so self-confidence. Yes. You know, big topic. Big. You know, so there's a couple of levels to it that I see. I don't know if you ever read the book where they talk about self-image. Right. So, do I have it here? Yeah, I got it. Let me grab it.
Yeah. Well, and I'll kind of give you guys a little hint.
So it's called, now this is the new one. It's called Cybernetics. This is the new Cybernetics. And what this does is it's Maxwell Maltz, and it talks about your self-image, that in any career in life, you can only go as far as your self-image allows you to go, right? So there's different, oh, awesome. Great topic. Andrew, thanks, buddy. Thanks, well, Andrew. we hope we do it justice, my friend. Let me tell you that. So, yeah, so there's like this self-image part of us, right? And we can never get past that self-image. And one way when I was running little conversations where it was a website that I had where I would just read books like this, and I would connect with the authors and say, hey, listen, I got like 1 million questions about your book. I'd love to hear more. The easiest thing for self-image was, you know, if you have somebody that's making 50 grand a year and they don't, like, internally, their self-image could never have them making 100 grand a year. They will never make it. What will happen is, like, so you'd look at it in sales, right? They start the year and they close all sorts of accounts and they hit 50 grand. What will happen is that, you know, now for all of you watching and listening, whether you're spiritual, whether you're religious, whatever it is, the universe, as well as your self-image, will get together and you'll either self-sabotage. Things will happen at the year. So you could, and literally they've done studies on this where, like, they talk to sales managers and they say, no, this salesperson is going to do 80. This person's going to do 100. This person's going to do 120. And they do it in like the first 5 months of the year. And the rest of the year, it's these blips where things start going well. And they're like, oh yeah, I could do that. And then they drop. And then, oh, well, I could do that. And they drop, you know, and they often refer it to, you know, if you ever look at really successful people, when they lose everything, how fast they get it back. Yes. Because their self-image is in that position. They're not in the position where they lost. Now, whether that be company, finances, whatever, like they're not in that position. And you might want to grab this as your next audio book and for everybody watching, listening. And, you know, to me, that is the origin of self-confidence. And now I know that you were watching something the other day where they're talking about self-confidence coming from other people. And you brought up such a good point, DJ, because our inner circle of the 4 of us that are in it right now, we're watching some serious things happen in that inner circle because of the people around you. Yes. Right? And then you get into the conversation of, you are the sum of the top five, the five people you hang around with the most.
Bingo. Yes, yes. Hey, good morning, Gary. Definitely fellow
Fellow
freedom
freedom fighters.
fighters. Yes. So yeah. So what Dan's talking about, I seen. It was yesterday actually. Was watching. So not watching, but listening to as I'm driving, as I usually do. I
Yes,
love it.
Maggie.
That's right.
Yes, you're
Amen.
absolutely right.
Amen.
Yep.
But here's the crazy thing. So sitting here and self confidence
What's up,
and
the Prime Minister? Gary, you had to go political on us, eh, brother?
yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, I
Uh
maybe we'll get
oh.
into that after I've got my own thoughts and
We will. We'll touch on that, Gary. I promise we will.
yeah,
But
we'll touch on it a little bit because
we will.
there's but
Yeah,
Gary goes political right
I
away.
love
Five
it.
minutes
I
and
love
53
it.
seconds in, Gary's the hammer
He's
down
like,
boy,
let's do
hammer
it.
down. Let's go.
Let's bring it out. Hey, and that's the confidence of our group, obviously. But
Yes.
and this is where it kind of like opened my eyes and literally, like I told Dan, I kind of had to pull over. I'm like, whoa, I got to really listen to this because it was Simon Sinek and Lewis House. Shout out to those guys. No, don't be sorry, Gary. But so Simon Sinek and Lewis House, and Simon Sinek, and they're talking about self confidence. And it's funny because Simon Sinek says, "Well, confidence. Well, if you think con is with, it means with, right?" And then they're both kind of like questioning each other. Then they're looking up and they're on their phones, and it's funny. Like they're like, so it's like us right now trying to find out the original meaning of confidence. But long story short, he really dives into how he thinks self confidence is so wrong in the way that we explain it, and it's not us constantly having to, you know, so you see people, you see confidence, you see those who fight against all odds, and everybody's against them. He thinks that's more bravado. That's more that alpha that could come out, and the confidence really comes from, and it's not self confidence, but confidence comes from those around you, everybody around you in your circle, and them pulling you up, them telling you you're going to do it, them telling you you got this, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Well,
Maybe.
I think our environment, right? So if you just look like everybody around us, let's just group it as our environment
Yeah,
is everything. I
yeah,
mean everything. Like years ago I created a program called Complete Child Development, and it was based on personal development for children. And one of the section was environment, talking about, your school and your friends at school and the people you associate with and the people you hang out with. Like our environment is everything. Everything. And I mean,
everything.
it takes really good
more,
people down
more than
because
we
they get
really
in the
know.
wrong
It's our
environment.
confidence in the end,
Yeah.
with Simon
Hmm.
Sinek's. I mean, the more he, and like Dan said, so he mentioned we do have our inner circle, and to see, and thank you guys, thank you, John, thank you, Ryan. It's you guys. In the end, it's you guys. The circle is just what gives you the confidence, but it's only giving us the confidence to then do the goals or the tasks that we're really trying to do ourselves.
Hmm. Hmm. Ryan says self confidence is key. You can watch a motivational video, but it only lasts for a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Rely on disciplining your daily schedule. Ryan, when to that point
Yes.
as well, Zig Ziglar said, you know, motivation is like showering, right? You should do it every day.
Yeah.
Like you don't just shower once and say, "Good, I'm good." But unfortunately, when it comes to, you know, we'll call a spade on this. We'll 8 mile the
Yeah.
shit out of this. But the
Yeah. Yeah.
reality is, when it
Let's do
comes
it.
to self growth and personal growth, professional growth, unfortunately, a lot of the times, a lot of people aren't willing to invest what they need to invest in order to get the results they need to get. And when you associate that with self confidence, it's like I'm happy at 5 grand a week because I don't have to hear no a million times to get to 10.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable because my pursuit of pleasure, staying where I am, is higher than their avoidance of pain is higher than their pursuit of pleasure.
Yeah.
Sure, would they, and also, Zig also says one thing that to me anyways hit home. He says, money isn't important, but it's just as important as air. And I know some people say, no, 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 money's not important. But I think there's a connection between happiness and money. And let me explain before everybody blows up. Um, some people are happy and content making 60 grand a year. They'll go on their one vacation a year. They're happy and content. Even those $60,000 people, if you doubled their income, would they be happier? And I ask you because now they can go on 2 vacations a year or possibly 3. They can unwind, they can relax. And vacation is just one piece of it, right? Like, can you afford to, I don't know, do that renovation in your house? So when you walk into your kitchen, you have that huge smile on your face going, and it's that, like, for me, it's all about what I do with my hands. Like, I am the happiest when I'm fabricating something or building something, right? Because I allow my business to a point where I can allow myself to learn, and that kind of call it side gig, I guess, for lack of a better term, right? So, like, I had, 3 months ago, I had no idea how to weld, right? So I had zero self-confidence in my welding. So what did I do? I started watching videos. My brother-in-law is a millwright. I had him come over. I invested the time and energy to gain a little bit of confidence. And then it's something that I learned from one of my mentors, where it's a confidence competence loop. So you get confident in something, you get competent in it, you gain more confidence by being competent, and it's a perpetual loop. And what it does is it operates like rings on a tree. When you cut a tree down, it's got these rings of growth. And I look at the confidence competence loop as these rings of growth, right? And it all starts with taking action on something. So, you talk about our group. In our group, it's like, guys, I'm thinking of doing this. It's like, go, do it, go. And it's like, and then the person does it. They're like, oh my God, like, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And oh my God, this is what it is. And my wife is my wife is thanking me so much. And it's like, and you watch that level just rise. And I think it's got a lot to do with outside. Now, when you look at outside of us, I look at my welding. I watched probably 3 or 4 hours of YouTube videos, and I gained enough self-confidence to repair a shovel. And here's the thing, and people might be laughing, like, repair a shovel. Yeah, I had a cracked shovel. That was the first thing I ever welded in my life. But you know what I just did last night is I built a sled deck that holds 2 sleds on the back of a truck. And I had my brother-in-law come over, who's a millwright, and I said, I need you to inspect every single weld. He goes, Dan, a tractor trailer wouldn't pull that apart. He goes, you did a great job. He goes, some of them you over welded. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, you don't need a 2-inch thick weld on that spot there. He goes, but it's not going to, he goes, you might want to grind it off to make it look more professional. He goes, like, some spots you overdid it. He goes, but dude, it's golden. And DJ, we put it in my son's truck last night. And it's like, we both stood there, and like these smiles came on our face when we were standing looking at it. It's like, wow, and then my neighbor, and it's funny how things happen. My neighbor goes, hey, that is friggin' slick. He goes, I got a buddy that rides. He goes, I just took a picture and sent him. He goes, can you build another one? And I'm like, and me, I'm like, yeah, of course I can. This is fun. And so I might actually have a kind of side gig where I'm spending $900 on material, and I'm selling them for $5,000. Like, that's a pretty, and I can build it in a weekend. Because this one was my first one. So it's like, you're mapping it out and all that. Exactly. But if we look at that and we transition that to sales, right? You come into a company, you start selling, you make one sale, right? Everybody in your company around you gathers around. What I would hope your peers gather around you, like, way to go. Good job. You sit in a group, maybe it's in what you used to call the pit or the development center or something when you first come in, and you're listening to other people fail and fail and fail. And it's like, okay, I kind of said the same thing. I got the same results. I'm not a loser. I'm just learning. And like, so I guess where I'm going with that is, what's your thoughts on, we learn into the confidence that we have, right? It brings up a whole
definitely, yeah. Well, knowledge is power, obviously. So the more we learn, the more we know, the more confident we are with anything we do, for sure. But man, there's some good good
There's
things
some
over here.
good, there's some good,
Gary
yeah.
was back. Yeah,
Back on
back.
self-confidence come from the wins and the fails. If you never lose, you can't understand the reward of winning. I think that's absolutely true. And Bob Proctor once said to me, how do you know a good paycheck if you never got a bad paycheck? Would there really be an up without a down? Would there be a left without a right? Like, you got to have an opposite, right? And so
Has to.
you got to
There's
have the wins, you got to have the fails. You learn from the wins.
yeah.
Most people say, well, learn from your failures. And I'm saying, like, learn from your wins. Take those gold nuggets of the wins out, and then, whatever you fail, flip the fail that to the win column, the exact opposite, and try that
Absolutely.
and test, right? I
Yeah.
love that, Gary. I
Yeah.
love that.
That was.
He says, I've read all the books and I still need to keep learning. That's why I listen to you guys. Aw, thanks,
Oh,
brother.
Gary,
But you know what? You're right. Like,
listen, and it's you
reader.
guys. But here's the thing: just like we might be giving you guys the confidence, the motivation, the all that stuff, you guys are giving it to us. I mean,
Yeah,
listen, without this, shoot, if you, I mean, so Ryan, you are seriously the sweetest person ever, and to say that. No, I am not. If you really knew, if you'll have to have a secret side talk with my wife. I'm not as
she's on. She's
I'm
on,
not as
Ryan. She's on
confident
right now. She's already commented. So
as
you just throw out
advertised.
those comments about DJ.
Inside, I'm very actually scared and different. But yeah, it's
DJ, what you just did there is you just set up. You just told Ryan, okay, keep telling my wife how awesome I am.
oh, okay. Well, maybe I did that too. No, no, not at
I
all.
like that.
No, I really, seriously, Ryan. It's from you. It's from John. It's really from Dan. It's from doing the show. I mean, it's changed.
No.
It's changed
Listen, DJ,
more.
we've said that before. I've said
You all over.
you're the inspiration for me, brother, and
Get out of
you
here.
bring just the chiclets bring everything forward. It's like
Oh
we can get
man.
this done. Oh, look at this.
Oh, there she goes.
So
Oh,
Jeff says, you are what you are from the stimulus that surrounds you. Yeah, it's true. Money is not everything. Happiness comes from not from what is bought. Think about it. You buy happiness because it's temporary. It's a frame of mind. I agree with that, but money is important, and
well,
not
listen.
necessarily to be happy. But money
No,
is important. Like like, listen, there's some really rich people out there. Their lives are
right.
falling apart. Like, it's got to be
And
perspective, and
and
it's
the
got to
flip side,
be,
there's really poor people that you would think, how could you even be happy living that way? But they're
yeah.
super happy because happiness is not items or status or level or anything like that.
Hmm.
Happiness is whatever happiness is to you. I mean, you
Happiness is
in the end,
internal.
you choose it. Rico says,
Yeah.
look, you got two choices. Are you gonna choose happiness or are you gonna choose the
Well,
flip
and
side?
even deeper than that, DJ, you look at it and you say, if you're unfulfilled inside, like, just talk about fulfillment for a second, regardless
Mm,
of finances or
that is
anything.
so great.
If
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
unfulfilled inside, then you will never be fulfilled by anything monetary. And that's apparent when it comes to, like, Robin Williams, some serious issues inside, had all the
Exactly.
money anyone can ever ask for, still wasn't happy. Nirvana, what was the guy from Nirvana?
Oh yeah. Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain,
Yeah.
huge. River Phoenix,
Yeah.
like, all, you can go back through history and find all of these people that had all this money. What I mean, and I guess I should have, clarified it a little bit. Money is important because money helps you not have the stresses of, like, not being able to pay bills. Am I going to be able to pay rent this month? Am I going to be able to pay my heating bill? Am I going to be able to buy groceries? And especially in today's day and age, fuck, groceries have gone, like, through the. I don't know about you guys, but holy shit, man! I haven't had a tomato that tasted good, and I don't know how long. And, like, I'm buying bananas that
Just
are
because they're
like.
rushing
I'm
everything. Yeah.
buying bananas that are like this green. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's like, and then by the time they go yellow and brown in like 2 days. So it's like you
yeah.
got literally a
Uh,
45-minute window to eat these things. But it's like, that buys some comfort. But if in here, if you're not inside happy, you know, not necessarily content, but if you don't love yourself, if you don't love what you're doing, you can make all the money in the world. And guys, I've been there, right? I was making a whack of money as a commission sales rep early in my career, and I wasn't happy. I hated life. I was a grump. Nobody wanted to be around me. And it was like, I realized, and that's where Eye of the Tiger came in for me by Survivor, where they said, you're trading your passion for glory.
There it is.
And I took almost $100,000 pay cut, moved provinces to Ontario, and started at an asset-based company because it was like I enjoyed the people better. The people treated me better. And it was funny because the president of the company came down and we went to PEI to golf. And on our way back, he stopped and hung out at my place for a few days. And he met all of my people that surrounded me. And he says, Dan, like these people, like they're like half of them are in it for one thing, your money, because you got the quads, you got the dirt bikes, you got the snowmobiles, like they're coming around to do that. And it's funny because I would go out riding. I had 4 snowmobiles at one point. I was a single guy and I had 4 sleds in my garage. I'd have buddies come over. I'd be repairing the sleds all week because they hit trees and shit. And I wouldn't see them all week until the next weekend. And then they'd come over again. But I just thought that was the way it was, right? Like that's what it is. And so to quantify that, guys, I don't mean that we all have to go out and make a lot of money just to be happy. You do have to be happy inside. Money reduces some of the stress and it adds some of the stress too. I mean, it's a fine line between love and hate, right? But anyways, just want to make sure I hope that clarified things, Jeff. I don't want you to think I'm
no, it did.
One of these.
In the end, listen,
look at DJ. Is Patty Flores one of your family members?
That is my mom, actually.
Mom!
That is my mom.
Hey!
So, that's where it came from.
Wait, look at that. Enough of this love fest. Valentine's Day is in a couple of weeks. What can I do to be more self-confident this month? Great question, Ryan.
Keep surrounding yourself with people who are going to support your goals, dreams, and purpose.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. You know, Ryan, if you want to be confident, try 10 things this month you've never tried before. Take a leap. Stand on the, Dennis Miller said it, not that Dennis Miller. Said it to me one day. He says, so he wrote a book called The Edge of Uncertainty. And he says, you want to get more confident. He goes, stand on the edge of uncertainty, look over the edge and take a deep breath and jump. And, here's the thing. And I say that with all due respect, Ryan, we as humans, I think we hold back 90 to 95% of the time. You look at some of the risks that people take, some of the chances that people take, and especially us in sales, right? Like, why not? I mean, some of the chances I've taken,
what's
like
the worst thing
you guys have all met Thomas. You met Thomas, right? Remember on our live, his volume was off, but so Thomas was a sales lead that I chased for a year. And finally, at one point, it was like we'd have all these great conversations and like no one was pulling the trigger. And finally, at one point, I said, Thomas, can I ask you a question? He goes, yeah. I said, are we going to fucking do this? And there was silence. And I even just went, like, did I just say that? And he goes, yeah, you know what, Dan, let's do it. He goes, we've been beating around the bush long enough. And I'm like, oh my God, it worked. So guess what I did for the next 15 sales calls? Hey man, we going to effing do this or what? I totally pulled the Grant Cardone on everybody. But you know what? 90% of the people are like, yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. And it's like, oh my God, it works. And then, so what it did is it gave me more confidence to close. So I say my suggestion.
In the end, it's just asking. You have to ask for it.
What are you going to lose?
What are you going to lose?
So,
they say no.
Ryan, you want to be more confident?
So what?
Do 10 things that are like way outside your comfort zone. So do 2 or 3 a week, way outside your comfort zone, and come back. And I think personally, that's a great way to get more confidence.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, you have all the money in the world and still be unhappy. 100%. 100%. All jokes aside, he's changed my entire view on everything. I definitely need DJ in my life. Aw, look at you, buddy. That's awesome. Good morning. It comes from being true and your true authentic self and believing in yourself. Sharon, great to see you out here. It also takes
Sharon is one of those. Sharon is one of those great people that came into my life that changed that view too. Sharon, thank you.
Yeah, 100%. And then, shout out to Maggie. Thanks for sharing them with us, for Gary. Oh, look at this. This is great. Great topic.
Two guys. This is not what this is for.
Your purpose wasn't clarified yet. Yeah, Brian.
Yes,
exactly.
Brian. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then Patty says you're 100% correct.
Oh, gosh.
Hi. How are I? Probably a you. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
DJ's racking up the points. Just says, yeah, buddy. Rock on, man.
All
Rock
right. Thank
on.
you
Great
guys.
stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's that DJ, that self-confidence piece, I also think it's where when you
It's
connect
crazy.
with people, and you do things like what we're doing, it's a reciprocal, like it's
Exactly.
one, and then you add two or three more people to the mix, and it's like you're climbing that ladder super fast, right? And
Yeah.
whatever your baseline is, that
Yeah.
is that's what that obviously where you are is your baseline, and it's your
Yeah.
starting point. And in a very short period of time, you know we could be so much further ahead. But
Yeah.
I do honestly think it takes that stepping outside your comfort zone. There's
Absolutely.
a reason why they say a lot of books are called shelf help instead of
Yeah.
self help,
Yes.
because we get them typically, and typically people buy things like this when they're in a valley, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm in a slump,
Exactly.
things aren't working for
Yes.
me. I'm going to go get a good book that deals with that matter. So like if you're in a slump for closing, you're going to go buy like Jeb Blunt's Inked.
Yep.
Or a slump for negotiating, you're going to go buy a Jeb Blunt's Inked. If
Yeah.
you feel like your sales are faltering, maybe you're going to go buy Robert Cialdini's book, Persuasion, or like whatever. You're going to buy something that
Yeah.
relates to that topic. You're going
Yep.
to read 3 or 4 or chapters, maybe even 3 or 4 paragraphs. Something's going to hit you. That idea, that strategy is going to hit you. You're going to go and try it, and you're going to start coming out of the slump. What's going to happen? That book goes on the shelf and you
Yes.
don't touch it again, right?
Yep.
And it's like Gary said, consistently that reading. If you
Knowledge.
consistently educate yourself in any way, in any capacity, whether it be
Anyway, what
industry, about productivity, about personal development, maybe
read
it's a
books.
sales,
Listen,
yeah, like
books
listen
are
to them.
Simon Sinek brought up books in this talk, in this conversation that I was watching, and he said that's literally somebody, or actually I think it was Jim Quick. Sorry, I think it was somebody else at that time, but it's literally somebody's almost maybe lifetime of knowledge, information, lessons they've learned, everything that you can literally learn in not 10 years, 15 years, 8 years, however long it took them to experience it, but in the matter of moments of reading a book.
Mhm.
I mean, the knowledge and the power that's in there, it's changed my life. It really
Well,
has. So,
Tony Robbins, I remember once saying, he goes, because like, listen, Awaken the Giant Within took me 6 years to write. 6 years of testing strategies, things failing,
great.
things working. 6 years. He goes, you could read that in a weekend.
Yeah,
And he goes, and one of those strategies might just be the missing link. Like Rene Godefroy said, you're one
absolutely.
applied idea away from changing your life. And it's so true. Like it's so true. Just one applied idea away, like literally one. And
One.
so if you're, like going back to what Ryan said, like if you guys just try 10 new things, 10 new ideas this month
Mhm.
and apply the idea, like imagine what the difference would be. What would that be? 120 new ideas a year, right?
And if you,
10 a month. Yeah. Did my math work
and if
there,
you
Casey?
don't
Yeah,
have
I
the
did. Okay.
confidence to take that leap, join us. I'll create a group. Reach out to me. I'll create a group. Your group is going to give you your confidence. Your group's going to give
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I truly believe what Simon said. In
It's
my
true.
group, bringing Dan, bringing Ryan, bringing these guys in my world has changed a lot. And
And it's got to be a
can't wait
right
to share
fit,
more.
I
Really.
think. There's also like there's groups. I mean, you see it all the time. You see a million different Facebook groups,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, I've seen it, and I've seen it in your Facebook group. I've seen it in multiple Facebook groups. People come out and say, I need some help on this, this, and this. And it's like, here, buy this or buy that or buy this or buy that. Right. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, but my perspective has always been, hey, do you want to get on a phone call? Because
Yeah.
I know this is what you need help with, but is it really? And
Is it
that's the
really? Yeah.
question, right? So we think it's this, but what is the root cause? I was on a coaching call yesterday, and we were talking about root cause instead of band-aids. And it's
Mm.
like, okay, so what is, and we went through we probably went through 15 different scenarios, and I just kept asking and asking and asking. And then we finally got to the root
Got
cause,
to it.
but
Yeah.
it was nothing like what the start was. And they were like, oh my God, yeah. I said, okay, so now we've got a starting point. But how often do we as individuals, right? Because our
Yeah.
days are moving faster than ever. And with all this stuff,
It's
like
February 1st already. Can you believe it?
I can't. I actually, DJ, you know what? And I know
I
it sounds
literally can't.
crazy, but I don't even know where the last 5 years went. Like I really don't. I'm
Crazy.
my wife and I were talking about the other day, like we've had our first dog for 3 years. I'm like, that's crazy. No. And I remember the day we brought him home. And I know
Oh,
it's, like, it's just like, and I remember I was playing hockey before I tore my rotator cuffs. And I remember one guy, Gary, at hockey, and he was like 70 years old playing with us.
mm.
Like stellar dude, right? And I said, man, I feel like the years are going by. He goes, Deegan, just wait. As soon as you turn 50, the
Oh boy.
decades fly by. And
Yeah.
it's true. And our life is moving so fast that I
Hmm.
think sometimes we are not conscious about where we want to go and what the day can
Yes.
bring. Right. We just kind of start the day, and before we know it, the day's over. And it's like, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock already. It's like, consciously, what was your intention today? What is
Yes.
that intention? And
What?
if we
Yes.
approach every day with the intention, I'm going to raise my self-confidence. I'm going to do something today that takes me out of my comfort zone so I can get confident. Even if it's the fact that it fails, I'm confident I'm not going to do that again. Right? Like either way,
Absolutely.
we don't. We're on this
And I'm so glad
autopilot.
you brought that up. One in this conversation, they brought up Oprah Winfrey. Every meeting, every single meeting
100%. Yep.
she did would say, first question, what is the intention of this meeting?
Every time she sat
Because
down.
she was so clear, and
Mhm.
high achievers are very clear on, and that's what I learned
100%.
too from Tom,
Mhm.
clarity. But yeah, very clear on their intentions and
Mhm.
why. Where is this getting us? Before we
Mhm.
even, uh, and it's not in a disrespect. A lot of people would take that as like, okay, what do you mean? Like, you're just trying to rush me out? Am I not good enough? But really, it's she wants to know: is it going to waste both your time, my time, and
Mhm.
yours? And
Well, not only
what's the
that, from
intention in
so
the end?
I watched an interview with Oprah, and they asked her about that. And she said, "Well, what it is if we sit down with 10 different people, and 10 different people at, Oprah's company or whatever it is,
Yeah,
she says they all think the meeting's about something different. We're never going to get anything accomplished." And
exactly.
it's funny. I think I told you the story about when I lost like a $30,000 deal. I went in and sat with the owners of the company and the owner and the senior vice president, and they told me all about what they wanted. And I said, okay. And they said, come back in 2 days or 3 days. Let's meet the team because the team is a big part of the decision making. I constructed a presentation to sell the owner and senior vice president. I
Mm,
walked in, and this is like literally 3.5 years ago. So this is like not this is as I'm training people. I got so caught up in what they wanted. I
mhm.
never asked any of the salespeople what they wanted.
Never talk to the
I
team. That was
lost the
all.
deal. I never talked to team. And I remember speaking to my buddy Nick Redstone, and I said, he goes, well, did you ask the team what they wanted? And I said, no. He goes, Dan, always rule number 101 of sales. What are you looking to get out of this meeting? And every time I sit down with a prospect, my first question now is,
Love it.
what is
Yeah,
it exactly you're looking to get out of this call? Even if I called the call and they could say, well, I'm looking for this, this, and this. Now I know
yeah,
exactly where to focus
absolutely.
my time to make the sale. And it just that one suggestion for you listening, Ryan, maybe that's your next move right
Maybe
now.
that's it.
Is
Yeah.
every single sales call that you have planned, like not an inbound call because, you know, well, I actually, yeah, an inbound call. Hey, listen, I know I just called you inbound, but if we
Yeah.
were sitting down for a meeting right now, what would be the first thing you'd want to get out? Like what would be the biggest thing you'd want to get out of the next minute and a half? And hell, try it. See what
Hey,
happens.
hey.
But every meeting, what is it you're looking to get out of this? And you're right, DJ. That intention piece is
Yeah.
everything.
Uh,
Everything,
I loved
right?
it when. Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad you said that.
We've got okay. DJ's racking up the points, and then Patty's back. I've been watching both of you. Such a beautiful thing. Keep it going. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mom.
And then EV part out. Good content. Keep it up, guys. I love the
Uh,
fact that it's EV part out. And look, he's got the Tesla Roadster.
I love
Yeah,
it. Look at
buddy.
that.
Give her.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
her. Hey, my first podcast was uncomfortable. I push forward. The more you get uncomfortable, the more comfortable you get. You know what, Jeff? Here's
Oh,
the
that's
thing.
a great point.
You're going to do great. You are. You and I said this to you the day of your podcast. You're going to do awesome. Like it's just something you've never done before. But you know what? At one point in your life, you were never a traffic manager. Then you became one. At one point in your life, you were never a salesperson. Then you became one. At one point in life, you were never a business owner. And then you became one. Like at one point in our lives, we are not something, then we become one. Like all of you that are parents, at one point in your life, you weren't parents. You didn't, we're not wolves where we wake up and, intuitively it's ingrained in us how to become a parent and what to do. We all ask questions. Like, it's just and even when you are a parent and you get a dog, it's a totally different scenario, or a cat, it's a totally different scenario. You've never, those who just start driving, you've never driven before. It's hella uncomfortable. I don't know how many of you remember the first time you drove on the highway as a kid. You crapped your drawers. Let's be realistic. Like, DJ, I remember vividly being in my first car on the highway and two trucks went by me on each side. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. Or your first snowstorm and two trucks go by you, right? Like, you're like, oh, and like your knuckles aren't just white. They're like Casper. Right. And you're like, oh my God. And all you want to do is pull over and put your hazards on and just like crawl up in the bottom of the car in the floorboards and just cry because it's so scary. A couple of years later, it's like you got one finger on the wheel. And trucks are going by you.
You're eating your burger. You're
driving with your knee. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's that confidence, competence loop. Right. And when you look at everything that comes with self-confidence, like, all of you watching and listening, here's what I want every one of you to do right now.
Listen to me. You can do it. Whatever you're thinking about doing, you can do it. I promise.
And
what's he got? He's got something going on over here. Well, we are going over time,
so all of you draw that and put it on your wall, right beside wherever you look at the most. Confidence, competence loop. And you just look and you understand that as you gain more confidence, you gain more competence, and then you gain more confidence. And this loop is just like a tree. And it just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. And as it expands, you will get more confident about the things you're doing. You will become more competent at what you're doing. When you become more competent, you take more action. And really, in the end, DJ, I mean, I know we've gone way beyond time. I think it was a very important topic today. I love the fact that you brought it up. Ryan says, I love Mama Flores. Yeah, buddy. You're getting the whole family. I love it. It's awesome.
She changed me more than she'll ever know. So.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Absolutely. I tell you.
Got a good one to take us out, guys.
Go for it, brother.
So, again, thank you, everybody, and all the compliments, man. Seriously, it's because of everybody that's in this circle that's changed everything. But like and subscribe us down below. We're on our Sales Chatter YouTube channel. We're on Dan Deegan YouTube channel. LinkedIn. Follow us everywhere. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. till 9:30. I had to pull this one. I think this ties very good with the money deal. And it's Simon Sinek had to pull one of his quotes. Confidence is believing in yourself. Arrogance is telling others you're better than they are. Confidence inspires. Arrogance destroys. Pick everybody up around you guys and make everybody confident.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.